Episode 100, the final episode of Awaken the Leader Inside. Stay tuned.
Awaken the leader inside. Follow the path of leadership. Never give up. Never stop trying. Get up. Believe in yourself. Not every day is going to be easy, but you got to challenge yourself. You need courage. Be ready. Stop waiting for it to happen. Go make it happen. Harness the power within. You are destined to be a leader. Follow the path of leadership. Awaken the leader inside.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name's Dave Rubalcava, and I'm your host here at Awaken the Leader Inside, a show dedicated to your leadership journey. Remember, you are never alone. Hey guys, welcome to episode 100. Yes, you heard it right. Episode 100, this will be my final episode for Awaken the Leader Inside. And so I want to share with you my journey, and I want to share with you how I got to this conclusion, and I want to share how grateful I am that we went on this journey together. So let me just start off by saying thank you so much for following this podcast. Thank you so much for all of the feedback and support. You will never have any clues to how much this episode, and I'm going to try to explain it, but how much your support and this podcast changed everything for me in my life. So let me just start off by saying thank you. Now let me just kind of roll it back just a little bit and share with you guys what this journey meant to me. So this journey has been over the last 2.5-3 years, has been an amazing, remarkable journey, and it's been more of like a documentary for me. Even though we talk about leadership and different things, a lot of it has been based off of what's happening to me at the current moment. So it's almost like a documentary of my journey and my own evolution and as a leader, and also my evolution as I went into other projects that stemmed from this podcast. This podcast gave me the courage to use my voice to share knowledge, but also gave me an insight to use different platforms and social media and different things like that. So that it has been kind of the springboard of things to come. And so I just want to tell you, on this journey, I really hope that you've learned something in your leadership journey, that you've learned to understand your own self, but also to understand that you were never alone in your journey. And I think that's the most difficult thing as a leader, is that oftentimes we feel so alone that people don't understand what we're going through, or they don't understand how to solve what we're going through. And that's probably the hardest one to swallow. So I'm hoping that this podcast really gave you insight to not only my journey, but into the lens of other leaders that I've learned from and other leaders that I've grown myself, that can give you insight to know that everything that you're going through as a leader is normal. And if that is my final message to you, is that it is normal what you're going through. It is the most difficult journey. Sometimes there isn't a reward. Sometimes it feels like it's like raising kids. There's not always an award or a reward up front. It's kind of in the long run, you'll see the output, or you'll see, those doors open for you because of how much you dedicated to your leadership and the amount of output and consistency that you'll grow into these roles. So let me kind of share what happened to me, you guys. Let me share so that way at least there's some resolution to all of this. This podcast has done so much for me, to the point where it actually springboarded another project, which is my family project. And, I'll leave links in there and all that good stuff. And it's our family channel, Team Rubalcava Network on YouTube. But what it did is it took me on a journey to find a new passion. And that was, learning how to edit, learning how to create, videos and editing and get my family involved. And so I went from this project as being more one of a project of me alone to an actual family project where we're all doing these things and documenting things that are going on in our life and sharing and all that, which has just been an amazing journey. And we finally got to the point where the channel has grown and we've been, monetized, and or it's going to be monetized soon. Just waiting for approval. And it grew legs, and it grew into something bigger than just the podcast. And so as that project evolved, it made it harder and harder for this project. And so this is where I'm going to always tell you guys, and as we reflect on this journey, is that what you start out to seek isn't always going to be the final turn, the final course that you take. And this podcast was a perfect example for me, where I thought I was going to go out and do this podcast and eventually do some speaking and things like that. But you know what it did? It gave me something more than that. It gave me a way to connect with my family. It gave us a project that now our whole family's invested into, and things bigger than I would have ever imagined had I not started this journey. And this is where I will tell you, sometimes we look at the end result and we're disappointed that, hey, this didn't happen, that didn't happen. When in all reality, everything that you do is a reflection of how you're growing. Everything that you do will somehow help you. This podcast helped me grow as an individual, grow as a leader, but also grow in how to use social media. Even though this channel in particular has not grown to like the expectations that I had, our family one surpassed it quickly, and so it just kind of shows you, like, sometimes there's stepping stones, sometimes there's things that you're going to do and try and experiment, and they may be successful, and it just kind of depends on the lens you look through and what they taught you. So if I'm looking at how many downloads we had, it's amazing. Just in this journey, I have to go back and check the numbers, but I know that at least through Libsyn alone and Spotify, we had over 15,000 downloads. And then from the website before I even got to Libsyn, I think we had like another 8,000 or 9,000, so I mean, to me, that's amazing. If I compare myself to big shows, and it's not so amazing, but for me, to average, 800 to 900 downloads, sometimes 1,000 downloads a month, it's pretty remarkable to me that people are listening to the channel. So you got to take it with a grain of salt, what you view as successful and what you view as maybe wasn't. And to me, this podcast was successful on so many different levels, but I kind of got to a stage where I have to move on. And that's the hard thing about leadership and about growth, is there comes a point where you recognize that it's time to kind of move on. And is it goodbye? No, it's not goodbye. You guys can always connect with me in my family channel, social media. But I think at this stage of my life, the podcast, it's time to go ahead and put the microphone down. And I'm not saying goodbye, because I don't know what the future holds. But I think for the time being, I'm going to put my energy and my time with my family and with our family project, and see if we can grow that to the point where it'll help me do other projects down the road. Because my true passion, guys, even though leadership has been a core part of my life, my true passion is to create, and to create, videos, and potentially down the road documentaries and short stories now. And these are all things that I had wanted to do early in my life. And being an adult that's accountable for myself, I had to be responsible and raise my oldest, and I made choices not to pursue those things like going to film school. And now I'm at a point where I think I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I found passion, and I found a spark that got me to refocus a lot of my energy. But I would have never discovered that had it not been for this podcast. So it's not in vain, you guys. It's really not. And it's natural progression. And I owe everything to you guys and this podcast, because this is now my evolution as a leader, to go on to do something that I have passion for. And I will always be a leader, as you will your entire life. And a lot of this stuff will carry forward into different projects. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen. And I'm sure you guys will follow us along our journey and our family and things like that for Team Rubalcava Network. And see what's in the future. So I do see us doing things and speaking and different things in the future. Maybe not necessarily this format. Maybe it's more towards about family and YouTube and things and how it's changed our lives. But at the end of the day, it's connecting with people. And that, my friends, I learned with you guys, and I learned it through this podcast. And now I've been able to do more because of it. So I want to tell you guys, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It's tough to do this episode, you guys, knowing that this is more than likely the last episode, at least in this format, and at least this podcast. And it's hard for me. So you can always reach out to me in social media. Always reach out to me in YouTube and all that stuff. And you never know. At some point, this channel, if you're watching this on YouTube, I may revamp this channel and do something a little different with it. And so just stay tuned, guys. If you enjoyed this podcast, you enjoyed, leadership, and you enjoyed just me breaking things down and talking about it, we do the same thing in my family channel. It's just with family stuff and fun stuff too. But I'm still here, so it's not like I'm going anywhere. So thank you guys for everything. I appreciate it. I'm so humbled to even get to this 100th episode with you. And, I just want to say I appreciate everything that you guys have done for me. And I'm sad. I probably will turn the camera off and then cry a little bit. But I really appreciate it. And so for the last time, you guys, thank you for everything. And always remember to awaken the leader inside. Thanks for tuning in.
Make sure you hit that subscribe. Make sure you hit that little bell on the top, right? Now it's time to get to work and let's make it happen.